What's up out there, you Coach Prime addicts? We are back again, and you guys liked our last video on players from the state of Florida. We told you we would keep doing this, and we did read your comments. So make sure you comment below what state we should do next. I have a feeling I know what it's going to be based on the replies from the other day, but we are doing Texas today. Players from the great state of Texas. We've got some fun ones in here. Let's get right to it. Draylon Miller. He's a wide receiver, 5'11", 205 pounds from Silsbee High School in Silsbee, Texas. He's a 247 composite 4-star, ranked 100th nationally, 19th at wide receiver, and number 17 overall player in Texas. He held offers from USC, Miami, Texas A&M, and others. Performed very well at the All-American Bowl. Closest comparison to him is Jonathan Mingo of the Carolina Panthers, according to Gabe Brooks of 247 Sports. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. Out of high school, he played wide receiver, running back. He played quarterback out of the Wildcat. He's got a very high football IQ, great physical tools, and great instinct. He'll often bully and win out on contested 50-50 passes. He's an absolute dog, goes up and gets the ball. He's got great versatility and athleticism. He's opened up himself to the possibility of being moved to a full-time running back at the college level, but currently listed at that wide receiver position. But dude can just get the ball and go. Absolutely so talented. Really, really like his ability, his playmaking ability, and excited to see him in this Buffs offense. This is the one that you probably thought I would lead with, but let me just stick around just for a second to hear it. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, 6'2", 215 pounds, Trinity High School in Dallas, Texas. Transferred from Jackson State, obviously, where his dad was the coach. Started and played 11 games. During the 2023 season, had 298 completions. That's almost a 70% completion percentage because he threw the ball 430 times. 3,230 yards, 31 total touchdowns. He had 111 rushing attempts, almost 400 yards. He had the most passing yards and second most touchdowns in Colorado history in a single season last year. Number 2 most passing attempts and second most passing completions in Colorado history as well. Let's get that up and get number 1 on those record charts this year. Highest completion percentage in a single season for Colorado quarterbacks. He was 9th in the country, top 10 with that completion percentage last year. We know Shedeur. We know what we expect from him this year. We know what we want to see out of him, and that probably ends with him standing in New York City for the Heisman Trophy ceremony, but we've got a long way to go to get there. But Shedeur Sanders, an absolute beast, probably going to be the leader on this team once again in so many categories. Really excited to see what he brings for this Buffs offense. Hey, if you're not already subscribed, we're going to continue to do this. If you like learning more about these players, if you like just the refresher while it's slow in the offseason, make sure that you're part of the Prime Time for College Football and you hit that subscribe button for me. Also, we got some comments that we missed some guys, we moved some guys around. Listen, I understand where some guys are from, where they played high school. We moved some guys around. There's some dual citizenship in the States. I get it. We wanted to make sure that we could spread out the love on different states. So I know there was a big one that you wanted to hear on the Florida thing. He'll be in Georgia. You'll be okay. Don't give me too hard of a hard time on this. It's going based on where it's listed on the roster. So if there's a mistake, go take it up with Colorado football because I'm just going based on their roster at this point. We could put a bunch of different guys that have moved around in different states. I know, but just calm down a little bit. Jalen Ellis, a 6'3", 185-pound, big-bodied wide receiver out of Cedar Ridge High School, Round Rock, Texas. Transferred in from Baylor. He played 7 games in 2023. Primarily contributed on special teams. He did appear in 7 of the last 8 games. Like to see a bigger role this year. I love his size. I love how big he is. I love the ability to high point the ball, go up and get it. We just got to be able to take advantage of that now. He is super athletic. He is a big frame bodied wide receiver. I'd like to see him continue to see that growth, see that, just playmaking ability to really help our Buffs out on offense this year. Caleb Mathis is a wide receiver, 5'9", 165 pounds out of Grace Prep High School in Arlington. Played in 12 games last year, had 6 total receptions for 38 yards. Didn't make a massive impact by any means, but can we see him expound on that? He got into all 12 games, played a lot of special teams, had some catches, got some of that first taste of experience. Can we get it to the next level this year in 2024? Can he help out this Buffs team even more? Another one that I know you guys have been waiting on. Maybe you thought we would mention him earlier. Just going in a random order here. Shiloh Sanders. He's a safety. 6 foot, 195 pounds. Can lay the wood. Trinity Christian High School out of Texas. He transfers from Jackson State as well. Played in 11 games. He started all of them. Missed one game due to injury. He was the 9th defensive back in Colorado history to lead the team in tackles, 70 total tackles. He kind of plays as that hybrid role, kind of that Derwin James in the NFL model where he can play up near the line, he can play back in coverage, but he had 70 tackles total. Tied for first in solo tackles in the Pac-12 with 55, first in the Pac-12 and second in the country in forced fumbles. 4 on the season. First in the country for DBs forcing fumbles. We expect a lot out of Shiloh this year, and fair or not, he's going to have to carry a big load for this Buffs team, and I think he's ready for it. Defensively, he is kind of the quarterback of that defense. I know that's a lot of times reserved for a linebacker, but based on who he is and based on how he plays, I really think that that's something that suits him well, and I think that we're going to expect a lot out of him, and we're going to get a lot out of Shiloh. His biggest play last year that I remember, there's a lot, right? And not just anything, but I'm telling you, the way this kid hits, it reminds you of those old school defensive backs like John Lynch and Ronnie Lott, other guys that were just phenomenal hard hitters. He is old school like that. Love watching Shiloh play. He's probably one of my favorite players. Everybody talks about Travis. Everybody talks about Shador. I get it. McCaskill, we'll talk about in a minute. There's a lot of fun and talent on this team, but I love watching the heavy hitting, the hard hitting Shiloh on defense. And I think he's going to be a ton of fun this year, play himself into a very good draft position for the NFL in 2025. Alton McCaskill, he's a running back who's 6'1", 200 pounds from Oak Ridge High School in Conroe, Texas. He transferred in from Houston. He played 4 games, starting 1. He redshirted, recorded 14 carries for 59 yards and 2 receptions for 19 yards. A little bit of action last year, not a ton, but we did a video featuring him specifically, and I'm really excited to see what he can bring this year. I think it's a lot. I think he's going to be in a good position to help out the Buffs a ton. I'm excited to see him on the field and rolling this year, helping out in that backfield with Edwards and others that are back there getting the job done, carrying the rock. I want to see us run the ball better this year. Carter Stoutmeyer, a cornerback, 5'11", 205 pounds from Prestonwood Christian in Plano, Texas. He played in 9 games in 2023, started 1 of them, had 11 total tackles and a tackle for loss. Got to have that depth in the secondary up, ready to go. We like to rotate a lot. We like to keep guys fresh back there. And so you got to continue to count on those guys who can bring it there in the secondary. Can he separate? Can he get up to a point where he is one of the impact guys on this defense? We'll see this year. Jaden Milliner Jones, a safety, 5'11", 195 pounds, out of DeSoto High School. Again, DeSoto, Texas, played in all 12 games last year, had 25 total tackles, 19 solo tackles, and he had 3 pass breakups. A kid that I could see certainly taking another step behind Shiloh, rotating there in that secondary, in that safety position, playing in all 12 games, getting it on a good amount of tackles on 25 of them. I'm really excited to see what he can bring to that secondary this year. How about some love for the long snapper, Jacob Polite, 6'1", 220 pounds, out of Cooper High School. Did not play in 2023 for Colorado, but did transfer over from Jackson State. He's played in 15 games over 2 seasons at Jackson State, played in 12 games in 2022 as their long snapper, and had 2 total tackles getting down there on special teams. He did earn 4th team all SWAC honors as a long snapper in 2022, helped Jackson State's coverage team to the fewest punt returns allowed in the SWAC. Not sure how much time he'll see, but excited that he's on the roster and that he can maybe be a weapon there on special teams for you. Trevor Woods, a safety, 6'2", 205 pounds, big kid, played and started in 9 games, but did miss 3 games due to injury. Again, kind of a hybrid. He started a couple of games at linebacker, had 42 tackles unassisted and 14 others that were assisted on, 3rd most on the team during the season. Another big safety that you can rely on and can be very, very trustworthy in that secondary to not only help against the run game, but also the pass. Israel Solomon, cornerback, 6 foot, 180 pounds, out of IMG Academy, but originally Dallas, Texas. Did not see any action during the 2023 season. Redshirted, did play his senior year of football for head coach Billy Miller at Powerhouse IMG Academy in Clearwater, Florida. Was named the defensive captain for them and recorded 45 tackles, 4 picks, 5 pass breakups, and 2.5 sacks. He was named Player of the Week 6 times. Also a junior Olympic boxer. You don't want to get in the ring with this guy, but certainly a kid who has the talent. Redshirted as a young guy. You don't expect young guys to come in and play right away all the time. But can he start to get into that rotation? Can he start to get a little bit more burn this year? You would think so with as much talent as he brings in. Turner Estes, a wide receiver, 6 foot, 190 pounds, Lake Travis High School out of Austin. Played in 7 games in 2023, mostly on special teams. Do we see him a little bit more getting into the rotation this year? Same thing here for Kendall Stewart, who's a wide receiver, 5'10", 175 pounds out of Foster High School. Did not see any game action during the 2023 season. Played in 3 seasons of varsity football for head coach Shane Hanks at Foster High School in Richmond, Texas. Had 69 receptions, 1,238 yards, 7 touchdowns over 3 seasons. His senior year, he recorded 27 catches for 373 receiving yards. He had 2 touchdowns there. Named a second-team all-district wide receiver. How much can the Buffs get out of him? Again, it's about growing. It's about learning yourself into that role. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's next year that he really breaks through, but I'd like to see those wide receivers with really good stats who are dominating at the prep level. If he's taking on the training the way he needs to, I think he could be good for the Buffs. Maybe not this year, but next. Elijah Yelverton, 6'5", 240-pound tight end. I get excited about this size out of Trinity High School in Royce City, Texas. He transferred from Iowa, appeared in the first 7 games for the Buffs. He missed the final 5 contests due to injury, mostly on special teams. But, man, when you're that big, hopefully we can see him get in and make a difference at that tight end position. We've talked about tight end before. 6'5", man, you can't teach that. That's a matchup nightmare. If he can get in and be effective at that position, you really have to like that a lot. Torian Carter, defensive tackle, 6'3", 303 pounds from Mansfield Legacy High School in Mansfield, Texas. Came in from Arkansas, an SEC kid. 247 Sports lists him as an 8,500 as a transfer rating. He's the number 66 defensive lineman overall. In his time at Arkansas, he played in 33 games, making 5 starts. You love that much experience from an SEC caliber transfer. He played in all 12 games last year. He started the first 4, had 25 tackles, 6 unassisted, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. Started the season with the first 3 games registering a tackle for loss or sack, and the last 2 games he did that as well. Preston Hodge is a cornerback, 6 foot, 195 pounds. He is a transfer from Liberty. Liberty had a really good year last year, went undefeated until their bowl game. 247 Sports lists him with a transfer rating of 9,000. That's a 4-star. Number 77 ranked player overall, number 4 safety. Played in 25 games, had 60 tackles, 3 tackle for losses, 2 interceptions, 13 passes defended, a forced fumble, an interception, and a return touchdown. Could he be your starter on the other side of Shiloh Sanders? Absolutely. He played safety for them, listed as a cornerback here, but could he be back in the secondary, just kind of mixing it up anywhere? Absolutely. Kid was a beast for a really good Liberty team. Is he able to bring it this way as well? Philip Houston, an offensive tackle, 6'5", 250 pounds from McKinney Boyd High School. He transferred in from Navarro College and FIU, played in 16 games with Florida International. All 16 of them he started. In 2023, he played and started in 11 of their contests, 651 snaps there at right tackle. Finished with a pretty good PFF grade. Pass blocking, 67.3, 64.8 run blocking. Recorded a PFF offensive grade of 60 or above in 8 of his 12 games. Recorded a PFF run blocking grade of 60 or above in 7 of his 12 games. PFF pass blocking grade of 60 above in 7 of his 12 games as well. We've talked about offensive line a lot, and we're not going to stop there. Tyler Johnson, offensive guard, 6'5", 325 pounds, big boy. Oak Ridge High School out of Houston, Texas, comes in from Texas and Houston. 247, again, 4-star on their rating. Played 2 seasons at Houston. PFF preseason All Big 12 Conference 3rd team when he was named to the East-West Shrine Bowl 1000. He had 7 games with a PFF pass block grade of 77.9 or greater. Certainly a kid that I could see starting this year. Really talented, big body. I like this kid a lot on the offensive line. But we're not done with O-line just yet. Justin Mayers, offensive guard, 6'4", 320, out of Frisco, Texas, transferred in from UTEP. UTEP sent another offensive lineman to the Power 5 at Florida State last year with Jeremiah Byers. They develop offensive line very well there. 247 lists him as a 4-star prospect, number 6 ranked interior offensive lineman. I could see him starting for the Buffs as well. You're starting to see what that offensive line might actually look like. He played in 35 career games through 5 seasons at UTEP. He started every game of the last 2 seasons at left guard. Started all 12 games at left guard in 2023. Had 6 games above 80 with a pass blocking grade. Only allowed 1 sack. Hear that again. 1 sack in 400-plus passing attempts. We need that. Less sacks, less pressure on Shedeur. I could see him starting for the Buffs this year as well. We'll put together some offensive line projections, some defensive line projections later. We'll talk a little bit more about the depth chart once we get into spring. But man, I think that offensive line, retooled, revamped, could be really good this year. If the offensive line's good, this team's going to be really good. DJ McKinney is a cornerback who's 6'2", 190 pounds out of Colleyville Heritage High School, Colleyville, Texas. He transfers in from Oklahoma State, another Big 12 transfer. 247 has him as a 4-star, 8,800. Played in 14 games during the 2023 season. Finished the season with 38 tackles and 5 passes broken up. Then we've got Chidozie Nwako. If I'm messing that name up, don't blame me. We need phonetic spelling there on the website. Defensive tackle, 5'11", 290 pounds, Foster High School out of Houston, Texas. He came in from Houston. He's an 8,700, which ranks 265th nationally. He's number 23 out of all defensive linemen taken in the portal. Played in 40 games at Houston, 33 starts, 6 starts in each of his 4 seasons there at least. 2023, he played in 9 games. He started 6 of them with 25 tackles, 13 unassisted, and a career high 5 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, and he also had a blocked kick. Big body wide receivers, we love this. Cordell Russell, wide receiver, 6'4", 210 pounds out of North Mesquite in Dallas, Texas. He came in from TCU. 247 has him as a .8800. Again, 4-star, number 144 ranked player overall. Number 28 receiver taken in the portal. Played in 3 games for the Horned Frogs as a freshman. And then a big one. We talked about this one. Yakiri Walker, 6'2", 270 pounds. A center coming in from UConn. 247, again, a 4-star, number 8 interior offensive lineman taken. Played in 17 games at UConn over 2 seasons. Appeared in all 12 games in 2023. Played a total of 797 snaps. He had a PFF pass block grade of over 75 times throughout the year. Committed just 3 penalties the entire season. We did a video on Yakari, some of his thoughts earlier and more recently on Coach Prime, on Pat Shurmur. Really, really excited for him. Could he be your center? You got a couple of guards there that we mentioned. Probably Seaton as a tackle. 1 more start. That could be your offensive line. That's a little bit of a sneak preview just for you sticking around and watching through the entire video. Now, a lot's going to happen in spring. We're going to have to see how that offensive line fits together. But you could have a very Texas flavor to your offensive line. You could have 3-4 starters out of the great state of Texas. We'll see, though. You're a long way to go in spring. You got a lot of good pieces there. You can move, mix, and match all these things. But listen, I love the class out of Texas. I love the roster out of Texas. We did a video on our Florida boys, the kids that Coach Prime has brought in from Florida. Really like that video, too. If you didn't watch it, go back on our channel and check that out. If you're not subscribed, get that taken care of right now. Hit the button. Let me know what state we're doing next. I read your comments. We try to respond when we can, but I read all of them. Thank you guys for tuning in, as always, to the prime time for college football.